Welcome everyone to InnoBay 2022, a special program co-hosted by CGTN and the Hong Kong X Foundation, a startup platform and incubator co-founded by Sequoia China and professors from Hong Kong universities. I'm Michael Wong. Now, as the name suggests, InnoBay combines the theme of innovation with China's dynamic Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macao Greater Bay Area, or GBA for short. 11 cities make up the Greater Bay Area, which in 2021 had a combined economic output of a top 10 global economy. China's Greater Bay Area is driven by innovation, led by reform, and powered by openness. It sits squarely at the forefront of the country's high-quality development efforts. Now, as a key part of the GBA, Hong Kong plays a crucial role to spur innovation in the region. During his trip to mark the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to China, President Xi Jinping made an inspection tour of the iconic Hong Kong Science Park. The city characterizes the Science Park as the flagship technology infrastructure that empowers Hong Kong's innovation ecosystem. President Xi Jinping's visit to the Science Park sends a strong signal of the importance the country attaches to Hong Kong's innovation and technology development. Take a look. During his visit to the Hong Kong Science Park, Chinese President Xi Jinping said Hong Kong leveraged its advantages to make remarkable achievements in recent years in basic research, cultivating talent, and development in the innovation and technology sector. While there, President Xi reviewed Hong Kong's advances in innovation, meeting with the city's young entrepreneurs, scientists, engineers, and researchers. He called on Hong Kong to deepen cooperation with the mainland cities in the Greater Bay Area and to strengthen collaboration among businesses, universities, and research institutions to build the Greater Bay Area into a global highland for scientific and technological innovation. In his speech the following day to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to China, President Xi Jinping once more drew attention to what the city has achieved on the innovation front.
Over the past 25 years, Hong Kong's economy has been thriving. Its status as an international financial, shipping, and trading center has been maintained, and its innovative science and technology industries have been booming.
And indeed, Hong Kong's innovation ecosystem has been booming. Since 2014, the number of startups in the city quadrupled. The total value of venture capital raised has surged by some 36-fold. Local policymakers are on the move too, with the HKSAR government investing an unprecedented $19 billion in the past 5 years to support the city's thriving innovation environment.
An important area.
According to Dr. Sunny Chai, chairman of the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation, President Xi's visit is a strong show of encouragement for the future.
I would say it's a golden age for innovators or people who want to join this field. It's a golden moment that we shouldn't let go. And on top, with our country's support,
China's overall development and the development of the Greater Bay Area, especially Hong Kong's close partnership with tech powerhouse Shenzhen, will be key to Hong Kong's path towards innovation and technology leadership.
The central government fully supports Hong Kong in carrying out more extensive exchanges and close cooperation with the rest of the world and in attracting entrepreneurs with dreams to realize their ambitions in Hong Kong.
And the ambition to realize their entrepreneurial dreams are increasingly found in Hong Kong's younger generation. While at the Science Park ourselves, the CGTN team and I experienced firsthand what President Xi Jinping meant when he spoke about cultivating the next generation of Hong Kong's innovation talent. It was inspiring to witness in action the city's youth harnessing their energy, expertise, and imagination to address real-world problems. It was also deeply encouraging to see young women well represented at the Science Park and leading innovation teams.
I think Hong Kong is really making a good try to build a technology and science center because we have such a very good area. We have our backup of our motherland, And also we have a transportation center, financial center, or we combine these international center together. I think Hong Kong will be the star of the world.
Hong Kong's youth understand that many of those good career prospects will be found right in their surrounding neighborhood, in the innovation-driven Greater Bay Area. The GBA has put in place copious amounts of policies and measures to support more Hong Kong youth and youth across the region to kindle their spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship. Well, this year at InnoBay 2022, we are honored and delighted to have 4 very special guests to share their perspectives on the innovation ecosystem in the wider Greater Bay Area and in Hong Kong. They are Mr. Liang Chunying, Vice Chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, or the CPPCC. That's China's top political advisory body. Mr. Liang, of course, also served as the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region from 2012 to 2017. We will also hear from the Hong Kong SAR's new Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee. We will then hear from Mr. Shen Haixiong, President of the China Media Group, the parent organization of CGTN. And we will also be joined by Dr. Tan Tian-Yu, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Dr. Tan is also an academician at the Chinese Academy of Sciences, specializing in computer vision and pattern recognition. We first invite Mr. Liang Chunying to deliver the first of our 4 very special remarks for InnoBay 2022.
各位来宾、各位女士、各位先生，我很喜欢跟年轻人在一起。有一次，我遇到一个在英国一个名校留学回来，有这个生命科技，硕士学位的一个年轻朋友，他在中环的一家投资银行工作。我问他。我说你在英国念的是生命科技的硕士，你现在在银行工作，我想问你，你当年念生命科技是你第一选择吗？他说是的，很爽快。然后我问他，我说你现在在中环打着领带，穿着西装，在一个大楼里面干投资银行的工作，是你的第一选择吗？他就犹豫了。若干年前，我在一个大学里面当校董会主席，听说呢有个念机械工程的同学成绩很好，但是呢每天他在大学的健身室里面锻炼体能，大伙就奇怪问他，你为什么这样每天过来锻炼体能？他说我想当消防员。问他为什么想当消防员？当然，当消防员是个崇高的一个职业。他说：“因为我念机械工程毕业之后，没有很好的出路，找工作不是问题，但是呢，找不到学以致用的工作。所以这2个例子呢，对我来说印象很深。在香港，我们培养创科、工程等等方面的人才啊，不仅是一个要他们学有所成的问题，社会呢，同时有责任在他们学有所成之后。”能够提供一个学以致用的环境给他们，所以呢，我今天非常高兴呢，知道，我们香港创科教育中心呢，它有这么一个愿景，就是面向香港及大湾区青年人，提供体系化的创新创业教育，以赋能年轻人以无穷科技创新能力这个作为他的一个愿景。我觉得这个愿景非常好。可以搭建一个平台，让我们年轻人呢 在学有所成之后呢，继续学怎么去用他在学校里面学到的种种的知识、技术、技能等等，同时呢，鼓励他们、协助他们创业，尤其是这里面提到这个香港及大湾区的青年人，使得我们香港跟大湾区广东城市之间的青年人能够用好整个大湾区的平台，同时呢，香港跟大湾区广东各地的朋友们多一些交流共同成长、共同奋斗、共同发展。所以呢，我祝贺我们的香港创科教育中心一切顺利希望呢我们这个中心呢为我们香港与大湾区的年轻朋友们搭建一个更高、更大、更好的平台。谢谢。
Mr. Leung there touching on the importance of creating that enabling environment for innovation and technology talent in Hong Kong to apply their skill sets. We thank Mr. Leung for his insightful stories and perspectives on this topic. Next, let's hear from Mr. John Lee, the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region.
各位嘉宾，我多次讲，无创科，无未来。因此，我很高兴参加今天由创科香港基金会主办的香港创科教育中心的成立仪式。创科香港基金会一直促进香港科创文化建设，引导青年认识国内外和香港创科、创业、创新的环境和机遇，为青年创业家提供创业资金、导师资源和交流平台。基金会旗下的香港 X 科技基金支持香港年轻一代科创多元发展、科技创新创业，投资的初创企业包括生物医药、医疗、芯片设计、金融科技、电子商业、大数据及人工智能等多个领域。在基金会去年发布的香港独角兽榜单中，榜上有名的电子科技公司斯特威 Smart Spence 就是获得香港 X 科技基金首批投资的科技企业之一，足证基金会对香港创科企业的栽培和投资的成果，为香港搭建可持续的科创生态圈，迎接智能科技发展和粤港澳大湾区协同效应带来的历史机遇。今天成立的香港创客教育中心，目的是通过一系列精心设计的课程，加上大学、企业、风险投资管理专家和社会各界的投入，共同启发和培育有潜能的人才，从设计到应用科术方面，洞察市场和客户的需求，构思创新新产品和商业系统，一步一步打造充满创新思维的团队。在中央的支持和特区政府的推动下，香港的创科发展生机勃勃。我们的创科旗舰项目 Hong Kong 创新香港研发平台已在香港科学院启动，由本地机构与世界级科研机构，包括中国科学院合作成立的28间研发实验室进行环球科研合作。此外，位于落马洲河套地区的 港深创新及科技园的建造工程已经展开，以期与深圳科创园共同实现一河两岸的一区两园的宏大远景。港深两地政府已签署合作安排及推出联合政策包，提供便利人流和科研资源流动的支持措施。习近平主席在7月1号发表重要讲话，提到香港创新科技产业迅速兴起，勉励我们背靠祖国，联通世界，这是香港得天独厚的显著优势。主席的讲话加上他亲临科学院考察，为香港发展国际创科中心注入强大的动力。我在政纲提出的核心政策之一是发展科创中心，带动经济转型。而我在7月1号就职典礼上也重申，特区政府将发挥和结合香港与内地的优势，让香港的基础科研成绩结合到内地，发展高端竞争力，提升创科力量。我希望社会各界与特区政府携手合作，激发香港新一代创新思维的火花，鼓励青年勇于尝试，融入国家发展大局，同为香港创科产业开新篇，共创美好的明天。谢谢大家。
The chief executive of the Hong Kong SAR, John Lee, just now stressing the support and encouragement President Xi Jinping has shown for Hong Kong's innovation development, and how one of his core policies is to continue to develop Hong Kong into an innovation and technology hub. Mr. Lee there also emphasizing the city will embrace the historical opportunities brought about by the synergies within the Greater Bay Area and smart technologies. All right, we would next like to welcome Mr. Shen Haixiong, president of China Media Group, to share his remarks on InnoBay 2022, Hong Kong, and the Greater Bay Area.
尊敬的梁振英副主席、李家超行政长官、谭铁牛副主任、各位嘉宾、各位朋友，今天中央广播电总台 CGTN 与创科香港基金会共同携手举行创新港湾2022系列活动及香港创科教育中心成立仪式。这是我们学习贯彻习近平主席重要讲话精神，助力推动香港建设国际创新科技中心的一项具体举措。在此，我向出席活动的嘉宾表示热烈欢迎，向香港创科教育中心的成立表示热烈祝贺。习近平主席一直牵挂着广大香港居民，对香港科技创新发展给予高度评价，寄予殷切希望。前不久，我随中央代表团来到香港，见证了25周年庆典的盛况，特别是聆听了习主席的重要讲话，深有感触。7一当天，我还与李家超行政长官进行了深入的交流，再一次切身感受到，随着香港进入有志即兴的关键期，狮子山下、湘江两岸迸发出的澎湃创新热潮，正越来越吸引全世界的目光。香港好，国家好，国家好，香港更好。在中央支持下，香港建设了16家国家重点实验室，6家国家工程技术研究香港分中心，2家国家级科技企业孵化器，创科公司从2014年的1000多家发展到现在的4000家左右。正如习近平主席所指出的，一国原则亦兼顾，两制优势愈彰显。随着一国两制事业在香港行稳致远， 必将吸引越来越多的创新人才、青年人才来到香港，来到大湾区，追梦逐梦，扬帆远航。作为国际主流媒体和国家广播电视台，中央广播电视总台牢牢把握创新这一主旋律，加快推进全链条、全方位、全领域的创新。科技创新的实力稳步走在了全球媒体的第一方阵。在庆祝香港回归祖国25周年的报道中，我们发挥总台5G 加 4K、8K 加 IA 的优势，派出近400人的团队进行全媒体、多平台、立体化的报道。相关报道总触达人次达到了56.02亿次，对外传播效果创历史新高。总台 CGTN 纪录频道和粤港澳大湾区之声的频率7月1号落地香港播出。湘江永奔流，空中看香港，直播大湾区等一大批精品力作，带给了广大受众沉浸式的视听享受，家国情怀满满，在海内外掀起了新一轮的湾区热、香港热。狮子山下，从来不缺少创新创造和拼搏奋斗的故事。中央广播电视总台将以习近平主席重要讲话精神为指引，进一步加强与香港特区政府的交流合作，携手奋进，同开新篇，持续深化思想加艺术加技术的创新融合，以满屏皆精品的创新成果，全方位展现东方之珠的独特魅力，在续写香港一国两制实践新篇章中发挥更大的作为。香港的明天一定会更加美好。谢谢大家。
Our thanks to Mr. Shen Haisheng for recapping for us President Xi Jinping's expectations on how Hong Kong can have an even more prosperous and brighter future, and expanding for us how the central government gives full backing to Hong Kong's innovation development through numerous state-level science, engineering, and innovation resources. Now, if you want an in-depth understanding of what Hong Kong has achieved in the past 2.5 decades since its China homecoming, and what the future holds for this vibrant international metropolis, we invite you to take a look at President Xi Jinping's full speech to mark the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to China. The full text of President Xi Jinping's speech can be found online and on CGTN's website. Next, we will hear from Dr. Tan Tie-Niu, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region.
各位朋友，各位同仁，大家下午好。的确非常高兴和大家聚集一堂，共同见证香港创科教育中心的成立。今天啊，这是我1周之内第2次陪同李家超特首来到科学院参加创科活动。我也知道这1周期间他还参加了其他的创科活动，大家可以看到我们特首是多么的重视创科，我也感到很受鼓舞。首先呢，我要代表中央政府驻港联络办对中心的成立表示热烈祝贺，也借此机会向创科业各位同仁致以敬意。大家也清楚，前不久呢，在庆祝香港回归祖国25周年之际，习近平主席亲临香港视察，发表重要讲话，并专程到香港科学院考察，与港区的2院院士青年科学家和青年创业的代表亲切互动。这充分体现了习近平主席对香港创科的高度重视，对香港同胞和香港广大青年的深情关怀。习主席特别强调，他说，青年人是全社会最富有活力、最富有创造性的群体，也是推动创科发展的生力军。加强青少年创科教育，对香港创科发展和支持青年人创新创业具有重要意义。今天呢，创新香港基金会联合香港大学、 香港科技大学、香港科技园一同成立香港创科教育中心，可谓恰逢其时，意义非凡，也是贯彻落实习近平主席重要讲话精神的生动体现，是创新创科人才培养方式有一探索。所以借此机会啊，我有3点粗浅认识跟大家分享。第一呢，是希望我们香港创科教育中心发挥自身优势，着力打造普及科学知识的平台。习主席指出，科技创新、科学普及是实现创新发展两翼，要把科学普及放在与科技创新同等重要的位置。当前可以说香港创科发展迎来了新的春天，尤其需要全民科学素养的普遍提高。希望香港创科教育中心集中优质科学教育资源，打造完整的创科教育课程体系，加强科学知识普及性，提高青年人科学素养，为香港创科发展提供有力支撑。二是希望香港创科教育中心支持青年发展，着力打造培养创科人才的平台。习近平主席在7·1重要讲话中指出，青年兴则香港兴，青年发展则香港发展，青年有未来则香港有未来。建设香港国际创科中心，需要培养一批又一批的青年创客人才。希望创科教育中心能有效汇集政产学研用等各方力量，创新人才培养机制，激发青少年对创科的热情，大力培养学以致用的创新领袖和创业人才，让青年人在创新创业中增长才干，用火热的青春书写精彩的人生。第三呢，是希望创科教育中心善用国家资源，着力打造厚植家国情怀的平台。大家知道，我们国家的科技发展可以说是一日千里，成就举世瞩目，积累了丰富的创科教育资源。我想，这既是科普教育的好素材，也是我们香港青年朋友了解国家、认识国家的生动案例。那么粤港澳大湾区建设呢，更是为广大香港青年朋友提供了广阔的创新创业的空间。所以希望创科教育中心用好国家创科教育资源，引导香港青年把握好粤港澳大湾区建设历史机遇，引领青年深刻认识国家和世界发展大势，积极融入国家发展大局，不断增强民族自豪感和主人翁意识。最后呢，衷心祝愿我们香港创科教育中心始终牢记今天成立之初心，善作善成，服务创科，服务青年，服务香港，服务国家，为建设全球科技创新高地，实现香港有志之心贡献力量。谢谢大家。
Dr. Tan Tian-Yu, Deputy Director of the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, mentioning there the need to further popularize science education in Hong Kong, further developing the younger generation of innovation and technology talent, and urging Hong Kong to fully utilize the country's INT resources. Our many thanks to our 4 very special guests for delivering opening remarks for InnoBay 2022. And to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to China, and in another step to boost Hong Kong's innovation momentum, the Hong Kong InnoX Academy has officially opened. Take a look. The wider Greater Bay Area and Hong Kong's innovation ecosystem has just gotten stronger. The Hong Kong InnoX Academy strives to empower Hong Kong's younger generation to fully leverage the city's resources to fulfill their innovation and entrepreneurship dreams. In his remarks to address the opening of the academy, Albert Wong, CEO of the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation, stressed the importance of creating a fertile ground for the city's young innovators to blossom.
There are three key factors for enterprises to consider when choosing a location for their business: market, talent, and cost. The supply of innovation and technology talents is the key to attracting companies to Hong Kong. When there is an abundance of technology talents, there will be good companies locating to Hong Kong. More importantly, technology companies can help create high-quality jobs as well.
The Hong Kong InnoX Academy is jointly founded by the Hong Kong X Foundation, the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation, the University of Hong Kong, and the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. The Academy is also part of a grand vision to further promote entrepreneurship and innovation culture in Hong Kong from investment guru Neil Shen. Neil is the founding and managing partner of Sequoia China. His team were early backers of names like Alibaba, JD.com, Meituan Dianping, and Headlines Today. And Neil is confident in Hong Kong's innovation and technology future.
Even today, I still hear people questioning whether Hong Kong has the conditions and the soil for the development of creators. Why we have confidence in Hong Kong's technology and innovation sector? We actually see it's a fundamental reason why creators can succeed in Hong Kong. The key to innovation and technology lies in the industrial transformation of science and technology, which has been the main theme of creators in the past 50 years. The commercialization of science and technology achievements mainly revolves around universities and research institutes. Hong Kong's numerous strong universities and research institutes are the essence of why Hong Kong can be developed into an international innovation and technology hub.
The Academy's ultimate aim is to nurture the next generation of innovation talent for the wider Greater Bay Area and Hong Kong. But according to Professor Wei Shi, president of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, who also spoke at the opening ceremony of the Hong Kong InnoX Academy, it's also about how innovation can enable more young people to contribute positively to society.
We do not just want more students to go out and start their own businesses. What we want to do is to give our students the opportunity to show their ambition, to develop their confidence, to get hands-on experience, and then to make a substantial contribution to society. It's not realistic to cultivate these talents completely in schools. We want to offer help to our students from different aspects, to train them and to let them face some real challenges so that their knowledge and skills can be aligned with the needs of society.
The Hong Kong InnoX Academy believes talent is the root of innovation, and that Hong Kong has now entered into a golden age for innovation and technology development. It has a three-pronged strategy focusing on platform building, science and innovation education, and synergies within China's dynamic Greater Bay Area. I want to get in one more word from Neil Shen. Here's what Neil told us in Hong Kong on the role of venture capital going far beyond just providing funding for startups. Take a listen.
When you look at the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years, I have to say the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem has developed quite substantially in Hong Kong. And this is mostly around the universities, where we see young entrepreneurs who are trying to convert their research lab result into real-life applications. And the question here is that for venture and for private equity, I think the role for them are not just to providing capital. Rather, I see a bigger role for them, which to helping the young entrepreneurs to navigate the challenges they have. When you look at those entrepreneurs, most of them are trying to address a particular deep tech challenge. Yeah. And this oftentimes inherent pretty substantial technology risk. And you need to make sure there are a product market fit for its research product. And from that perspective, the role of venture investor is try to helping them to get them to the market easier or quicker. We call it ourselves how to help them go to market.
That was Neil Shen, their founding and managing partner of Sequoia China. Now, also in Hong Kong, CGTN sat down with Dr. Sunny Chai, chairman of the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation, for a chat on the innovation environment in Hong Kong and the wider Greater Bay Area. Here's what Dr. Chai had to say about Hong Kong's advantages in fostering innovation and the roadmap to becoming a global tech powerhouse.
Hong Kong has long been an international city of our country, and we have a simple tax system. We have a very high level of IP protection here, and in terms of professionals in finance, legal, it's a great place for landing. Besides, we have 5 universities ranked within top 100 of the QS ranking. So with all these, naturally, is some of the major parameters for success for INT being an international INT hub under the 14th Five-Year Plan and GBA development plan. So our role to participate and complement into the bigger plan in GBA and our country's plan is to understand how we should help our INT ecosystem to demonstrate how to lead our tech people going into GBA and collaborate. And at the same time, we want to bring our tech talents, tech companies, to explore overseas markets or tech collaborations via Hong Kong.
While visiting the Hong Kong Science Park, President Xi Jinping spoke about the city's achievements in cultivating talent. Now, at the opening ceremony of the Hong Kong InnoX Academy, a panel discussion was held on how the Greater Bay Area can better cultivate innovation and technology talent to better help aspiring entrepreneurs from journey to breakthrough. Let's take a listen to the perspectives on this issue from 3 panelists who attended the event.
We know it very well that talent plays a crucial part in technology and innovation development. When it comes to talent cultivation, Hong Kong has an advantaged location where it faces the world and is backed up by the motherland. More importantly, Hong Kong is capable of nurturing talents with the ability of career crossover, not just interdisciplinary talents. Talent cultivation does not mean that a student can graduate from college, get a job, and then pay for a house. What we are talking about is to let the student have the spirit of innovation and risk-taking, which embodies the Lion Rock spirit of the whole Greater Bay Area, especially in Hong Kong itself. It is courage to take risks, to make breakthroughs, to leverage Hong Kong's distinctive advantages, to be able to adapt to changes and seize opportunities. I think these are some of the traits that we need to focus on in talent development and that young people need to be able to succeed in the future.
The team we invested in has a clear difference with the team on the mainland, which is that many teams prioritize global market as their primary and target market. Globalization is a distinctive feature. I've very deep feeling the past 6 years is that Hong Kong has too few talents. It is common that the startups have difficulties in recruiting people once they decide to grow faster. Recruitment capped at 12. One of the key reasons is talent. Of course, there are also other reasons, but the most important reason is still lack of talent. In fact, an ecosystem of closed loop is needed. Hong Kong's science and technology development is enjoying a good momentum. It is now at the takeoff stage, but this closed loop has not been completed yet. Based on my experience, I believe it has not accomplished.
In Hong Kong, the idea of developing technology and innovation is very pioneering. In other words, we are looking for places for breakthroughs and then use the scientific method or the engineering method to achieve them. As for entrepreneurship, if we put it in the context of the Hong Kong's top-down way of thinking, the impact could be huge because each one of us takes the entrepreneurship spirit to study things that can be applied to society and change the reality. So what is the future? Some students may ask me about the future. I say that if we use the concept of time to represent the future, it is the place where all the possibilities are there at that specific time. And if you embrace all these possibilities, explore all your personal possibilities, and finally, you can make breakthroughs. You first need to dare to break yourself, break the market, break the sector, break the model, break your way of thinking, and even break your conventional way of living, which is actually the most essential and exciting and interesting part of entrepreneurship.
这其实是创业最本质的、最刺激的、最有趣的地方。
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there. To see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London, China Global Television Network. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
Now, the Hong Kong InnoX Academy is an upgrade from a previous iteration that brings together numerous teams of young, diverse, passionate innovators to what's called InnoX camps. Now, here, students will experience the entire cycle of starting a business, guided by mentors. Each InnoX camp has its own theme. This year, we met teams tasked with designing products to push forth green living. Let's take a look at some of their creative ideas. Drawing a blueprint for a greener future. At the InnoX Summer Camp 2022, the innovators of tomorrow are brainstorming their ways to make a difference.
Our main goal is to solve the nitrogen use efficiency issue by also improving the planting efficiency.
Suppose you walk into a wet market.
Others are eyeing the wet market with a solution that tries to make it a more pleasant place.
There's an odor control unit, there's an air ventilation system, and also a way that you can drain the water in a better way so there is no mess and also is space and energy efficient.
You guys are Team H2O. Team H2O, as their name might have already suggested, is proposing a product that boosts humidity for babies.
A smart, sustainable intelligence device to provide a good protection for babies.
The next team, Team MT.
Time to face the grilling of the judges.
How do you make collective decisions?
Usually it's like a group decision when it comes to like how feasible is it on a group level.
But also, time to get some constructive feedback from experts and industry veterans. It's showtime, presenting creative ideas, showcasing innovations, applauds, and rewards. For the InnoX summer campers, this is certainly not the end. It could well be a new beginning. The aspirational innovators of today will help make Hong Kong a more innovative city of tomorrow. Let's get to our own panel discussion here on InnoBay 2022 and bring in Kelvin Tang, co-founder and CEO of Pawns AI, an art tech startup whose mission is to build an AI-powered creator economy in Web3. We're also joined by Matthew Tam, co-founder of online logistics unicorn Lalamove. Professor Anderson Shum is a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering and Biomedical Engineering program at the University of Hong Kong. Professor Shum also holds a PhD in applied physics from Harvard. And we're also joined by Tony Xiang, Managing Director at Sequoia China. Tony specializes in deep tech investments. So gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Calvin, I want to begin with you and sort of just set the stage for us, because you were there at the Hong Kong Science Park when President Xi Jinping attended the event. What were your major takeaways from President Xi Jinping's visit there?
First of all, as someone who works in art tech and as a science park incubatee, it is a giant booster to everyone working in innovation and technology, and as well as arts and culture. When you look at where he and his wife went to, the Hong Kong Science Park and also the West Kowloon Cultural District. So I think it is a great sort of confidence boost for everyone working in this area right here in Hong Kong. The second one would be the strategic importance of innovation and technology, not just to Hong Kong, but to the mainland. And, because he firmly believes that technology is the future. The third one would be to attract international talents from all across the world to work here in Hong Kong and also in the Greater Bay Area.
Matthew, of course, Lalamove was founded in 2013. What have you seen in these 9 years in terms of how Hong Kong's innovation ecosystem has changed in those years?
I mean, we see a lot more capital investments and a lot more policy, all favoring the entrepreneurships or the startup. And I think this is very important because innovation is what keeps a city to stay competitive and also making a home a better place to be. And also Hong Kong, as we all know, has always been stereotyped as a finance or real estate driven city, or maybe most parents want their kids to become a doctor or a lawyer when they grow up. But over the years, we have seen more and more young people willing to have a more open mindset and joining a startup as an option and trying new things and not the traditional path. So I feel that is very important. So I believe those are all good signs how the Hong Kong innovation system, the ecosystem, has proactively changed in the last decade.
Yeah. Professor Shum, I want to get your reflections, your experience in terms of conducting basic research in Hong Kong. And also, how strong do you think is Hong Kong's ability to really conduct world-leading basic research?
Hong Kong has been traditionally very strong and focused on basic research. So the result of that is that we have kind of a treasure trove of new innovations and breakthroughs that are ready to be translated. And Hong Kong, as a result, also has attracted a pool of talent. From what we've seen, the support from Hong Kong and also at the national level is increasing. With the improving infrastructures for research, such as world-class facilities and also an enhanced ecosystem, Hong Kong really has great potential to translate breakthroughs that have been accumulating in basic research to societal impact. And this will in turn also encourage scientists already in Hong Kong and also attract new ones to come. And talent is really behind a lot of the drive for Hong Kong's innovation.
Tony, I want to come to you because as a venture capitalist, you have seen firsthand in terms of what it takes to succeed. So what do you think in terms of, are there specific skill sets and mindsets that you need to have specifically as an innovator, as a founder, as an entrepreneur to succeed in Hong Kong and the wider Greater Bay Area?
We should to know what's the strength in Bay Areas. First, I think the historical and the humanistic element making the city more attractive to international talent. And the second, the financial recognition and the financing capability in Hong Kong. That's very great. And the third, the unique scientific research strengths from Bay Area universities and the institutions. That's very strong. And the first, the most powerful supply chain of hardware around the Bay Area.
Matthew, when it comes to attracting innovation talent, this has been talked about quite a lot the past few days, and especially during President Xi Jinping's visit to Hong Kong. He spoke about cultivating innovation talent. I mean, how do you view Hong Kong's ability to nurture, really attract, and also retain innovation talent, especially encouraging more people to become entrepreneurs?
Hong Kong is one of the most developed places in the whole world in terms of resources, capital, information structure. They offer advanced and sophisticated already. So this itself is already a big plus for all entrepreneurs. Secondly, Hong Kong has always been like a hub connecting both the Western and the mainland world. So we understand both languages, both culture, both system, and this helps our thinking in a much broader field. So I will only encourage, the younger generation of Hong Kong people to also live in mainland as an experience to gain a better sense how the mainland actually is. I think this will definitely help one to become a better entrepreneur in the long run.
Calvin, I want to come back to you in terms of incubating talent because Pons AI, you guys are actually located in the Hong Kong Science Park, this landmark technology infrastructure in Hong Kong. What's your take on the Science Park's capacity and ability to sort of really create that enabling environment, that support environment for innovators or aspiring entrepreneurs to succeed?
Yeah, I think the hardware is absolutely world-class. There's no question about that. And we are currently part of the Hong Kong AI Lab program and also the incubation program right at Hong Kong Science Park. And these programs are excellent for getting funding and having the credibility to hire people, the different career expos that I've managed to potentially get like hundreds of CVs applying to our AI and blockchain roles. So it is fantastic. But I think in terms of as a startup working day in and day out, I think what we'd like is to have more events and programs to help startups actually get business. So when we have more business opportunities, like getting corporate partners to actually adopt our technologies, it would be great for us to navigate the product market fit phase a lot easier. And so we can definitely run more experiments and see which area actually has tremendous growth potential. And so and when we actually have product market fit, then I think it's great for investors, it's great for employees, and also it's great for the ecosystem as a whole.
Matthew, I want to come back to you and talk about your own personal entrepreneurship journey because it is quite inspiring, I feel. You were an ordinary Hong Kong resident when co-founding Lala Move, but you have those two special ingredients, I think, that all founders absolutely must have if they want to start a company, and that's passion. It's also conviction. So talk to us more about this strong conviction to really make a difference, to really catalyze positive change.
Yes, passion and conviction is very important, especially for a startup in an early age, because sometimes what you're trying to achieve has never been happened. So you as a leader must strongly believe what you're doing or what you can achieve in the next 3 to 5 years, even though today this moment has not happened yet. I mean, along the way, you will make mistakes or go in the wrong direction. But as long as you have strong will and passion, you will always find a way out. I could still remember like the first 6 years building Lala Move. We work Monday to Sunday, 9 to 11, every single day, not one holiday taken. But we never feel tired. And we always thought that, time was never enough for us. So I would only suggest young entrepreneurs, to do what they really love to do. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, is this what your passion really is? Do you see yourself doing this for the next 10 years? Are you willing to sacrifice everything for what you're doing? If the answers to those questions are all yeses, then the conviction part will come naturally. This is how I feel.
So Matthew, is that your overall advice for Hong Kong's younger generation of entrepreneurs? I mean, are there anything else?
Number one is willing to get your hands dirty. I mean, like, sometimes understanding knowledge or theories that we learn from schools, but without application is garbage. Only getting your hands dirty at the operational level can let yourself truly understand what it takes, to build a great company. So I think that's important. That's number one. Number two is don't be afraid of falling. Nowadays, being smart is not enough, but being gritty. And last but not least, as I mentioned, I would suggest to live in mainland for a few years, to understand the culture, the language, how the system works here. I mean, it will open up your mindset and helps you become a greater entrepreneur. Greater entrepreneur down the road for sure.
Calvin, I'm trying to get that feel from you as well. Are you seeing more of your perhaps classmates, your peers, the younger generation in Hong Kong also taking the innovation path?
Absolutely. I think a lot of my friends are interested in getting into the INT industry, and because it's very cool, it's cutting edge, you actually get to build amazing things, and you only live young once, right? So why not try it when you're young?
Professor Shum, I want to come to you and get your perspectives on this environment for university industry and government collaborating together in Hong Kong to really move basic research down the value chain.
If you want to make an ecosystem that can maximize the number of successes to move these basic research down the value chain, we need to have a system for that. So for the best outcome, I think everyone in different parts of the value chain should be passionate, should be committed to focus on what they are best at. And with these talents working on each and every stage in the value chain being very passionate and very driven, then the translation and impact realization of the breakthroughs in research can be enhanced. The success rate hopefully can be higher. And certainly university, industry, and government can work closely together to facilitate the process. I think this all together with the collaborations between the university, industry, government can really provide something that any individual part of these cannot do.
Tony, in terms of Hong Kong really transforming itself into a global leader in technology, how do you see the Hong Kong-Shenzhen cooperation?
I'll give you an example. Hong Kong UST has an outstanding strength in hardware technology. With the help of the powerful electronic components supply chain around the Bay Area, the Hong Kong UST has incubated a series of hardware tech companies which already have a worldwide impact, such as DJI, SmartSense, and SenseCore.
Professor Shum, I want to come back to you because researchers in Hong Kong, like you've mentioned, produced copious amounts of excellent research. Do investors, you feel, need that strong STEM background or technical expertise? Or do you think it's okay to sort of be a visionary and really just connect the dots?
Well, I think the basic understanding of the science is important for investors to harness the research finding. However, what is even more important is that we have the visionaries who can see beyond the research findings and identify the potential to meet the demands of the market. And these visionaries, they do not necessarily have to be the researchers themselves, but they should be very familiar with the market, maybe not necessarily to solve problems in the researchers' disciplines, but really to solve a bigger societal problem. And having visionaries who are able to do that and connect the dots and connect the research findings, the researchers, I think is very, very important. And if we have more of those, then the successful translation of the basic research all the way to the market and even to enterprise, I think would be a lot more successful and smoother.
Matthew, I want to give the last word to you because we know, of course, the Hong Kong SAR government, with the strong support of the central government, is really propelling the city forward to becoming this international innovation and technology hub. And I'm trying to understand from an entrepreneur's perspective, do you feel that sense of commitment and urgency to really transform the city into this leading global tech and innovation center?
I mean, just a few years, we have about like 20 unicorns emerge. This has never happened in the history of Hong Kong. Only tech and innovation can drive the city to move further and stay competitive with the rest of the world. And I wish we will continue to do so. And we must make it happen. This is only the future for Hong Kong.
Okay, so our thanks there to Matthew Tam, the co-founder of Lala Move, Professor Anderson Shum from Hong Kong University, Calvin Tang, the co-founder and CEO of Pons AI, and of course, Tony Xiang, Managing Director at Sequoia China. Thank you all for your fantastic insights and perspectives on this topic.
Thank you.
President Xi Jinping has called on the Greater Bay Area to focus on its strategic positioning of building an international scientific and technological innovation hub, and to foster the development of emerging industries. In China's Greater Bay Area, one can find complete industrial chains, world-leading manufacturing capabilities, an international financial center, a global tech hub, world-class universities, trade, transportation, logistics, and aviation hubs. Policymakers are also, of course, zooming in hard on talent cultivation. The synergies within China's Greater Bay Area are massive. This area will not only be a growth engine for China, but also a growth engine for the world. And certainly, the Greater Bay Area is a world stage for those who dare to think and dream big. And that's going to do it for this year's InnoBay special program. I'm Michael Wong. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time.